Right. Up to now, we have discussed about CSS, sorry, HTML, hypertext markup language, and that is what we were discussing. And we just learned how to lay out web pages using HTML, hypertext markup language. And now in this lesson, so let's learn about cascading style sheets. Right. So let me tell the story behind this. Actually, earlier days, styling was also done just by using HTML. Actually, you know, HTML has attributes. These attributes were used in styling the text. So let me give you an example. So let me take, you can take Notepad if you have, or let me take bracket. So this is my editor. So if you like bracket, you can download that also. Right, let me show the steps quickly. Earlier days, if you wish to change the font, so there were attributes. So these attributes were used to change the font even. So if you want to change the background, if you want to change the colors, so these attributes were used. So let me write a basic HTML page. So HTML opening tag and closing tag. Then in the middle, I can write head tag. Then closing of the head section. And then inside the head section, the title section is there. Then the title close tag, and let's say this is styles. Earlier days, how this was done. So let me explain this. Then the body section. So if you wanted to add a background color, so the method is, so you can use BG COLOR attribute. And then you can add any preferred color. Let's say you want to add gray as background color, then you can add like this. So this was the situation in earlier days. So then let me save this file. And I'm going to save this file. Please remember the extension. I'm going to save this as, so let's say in the documents, let me save styles 1.html, styles 1.html, any name you can give, but should be .html or .htm. Save it. Let me go to the documents and open it. And so let's open the file. You can see it has added gray color as the background color. So this is the code that I have given. If you need the code, let me copy and paste. You can copy that from the chat, Zoom chat, right? HTML, head sections, title section. So then the styles, and so body, background color, gray. And if you need to, if it is required to change the font color, you can add font. So let's say the color you want font to be in blue color. And let's say the font size, you need it in font size 6, and font type, we call font face. So let's say you need Verdana. So likewise, you can add here I have added 3 attributes: the color, size, face. So then let's write hello world. Let's save and refresh this. You can see, right, when you refresh after saving, you can see hello world. So refresh, I have refreshed after saving. So then you can see the hello world message, and the font color is blue, font size is 6, and font face is Verdana. So let's change it to yellow, orange. So otherwise it's not much visible, and now we can see it's visible. So likewise, so this is how we have changed the styles earlier days, but there was a problem. There's something called browser war. Browser war. Actually, there were different browsers, web browsers like Internet Explorer. These are old browsers, Netscape Navigator, or the Mozilla Firefox, Internet Explorer. So these browsers were the Opera. So these were the browsers early days. But this Google Chrome came recently. Anyway, before that, so there were a lot of browsers. These browsers were fighting. So why they were fighting? They wanted to deliver the best version of web page. They wanted to deliver the best version of web page. So they were fighting. They want their browser to be stylish. So Internet Explorer was telling, okay, so let's blink the text. So Internet Explorer introduced something called blink, to blink the text. But this blink, it's not working, right? If you put that, sometimes it might work, not sure. So let's see. No, it's not working. But in Internet Explorer, this was working. Right? Likewise, they were adding different tags, attributes to style. So this was headache. Therefore, this World Wide Web Consortium, they are the people who set the rules, led by the father of web, Tim Berners-Lee, right? He's the father of web. So what they were decided, so they wanted HTML to be pure. So they don't like this HTML, different HTML introduced by the browsers. Actually, why they have introduced different styles? The reason is they want the web page to be displayed in a nice way in their browser. So Internet Explorer were introducing something, then Firefox, so they have introduced another thing, then again Internet Explorer introduced something. Likewise, that there was a war. So that is a cool war. They were not fighting using weapons, but they were fighting using the codes. Therefore, the World Wide Web Consortium, W3C, they are the people who said standard. I said already, right? W3C, World Wide Web Consortium, and that is the place which set standards for web. This is International Standard Organization for World Wide Web, and that is led by Tim Berners-Lee. Tim Berners-Lee is the father of web. We discuss, right? So what they were suggesting, don't change HTML, let it be. If you want to style the page, do it using a different styling language, and they have introduced this cascading style sheets. They have introduced this cascading style sheets. Actually, cascading style sheet, the idea is to separate the style from the structure. HTML keeps the structure, style is handed over to CSS, right? HTML, CSS is used to separate the structure and the layout from the styles. It was introduced by W3C, World Wide Web Consortium, as a solution to browser war, right? Browser war here, browser war, and also, sorry, Alton, not Alton, it's also to provide styling solution. So that is the idea behind CSS. That is the idea behind CSS. Okay, so please write down cascading style sheets. The heading is CSS. CSS, cascading style sheets. So the subheading is adding CSS to HTML. And under that, you can just add this small section. So don't worry, I'll be sending you the note. For the moment, as the introduction only, please write down this part, right? I'll be sending the to you. CSS is used to separate structure and layout from the style. That is the idea. That is why CSS was introduced. Okay, so please write down that. Yes, Saad, yes, so you can get the HTML part recording. I'll tell you how to get that. So please drop me a message after the lesson. I'll tell you how to get that recordings and watch it back. Okay, so please add this highlighted part, CSS, cascading style sheet. CSS is used to separate the structure or the layout from the style, right? And when we are using CSS, so the next thing is when we are using CSS, so there are 3 ways to add CSS. This we will learn in JavaScript also. 3 ways to add CSS. The first one is inline, the second one is internal, the third one is external. So these are the 3 basic ways of adding CSS. So please add this part also, because this is required. These are the most essential actually. So just within 15 minutes, I can introduce you the CSS. So because it is very small lesson, but you have to practice a lot. Okay. There are 3 ways to add CSS: inline, internal, external. Inline means you are adding CSS as attribute within the tag. So internal is you are adding that in the head section, which is then can be shared within, so it can be shared within the page. So when you introduce internal CSS, it's valid throughout the page. It's valid anywhere in the page. But inline CSS is valid only inside the particular tag. Inline CSS is valid inside the tag, but internal CSS is valid inside the page. And external CSS, it is valid even in your entire website. All the pages can share that. External CSS can be shared by all the pages. So that is the advantage. But the more powerful is inline, right? Inline, more powerful. So here, so let me put an arrow and tell. So after writing, you can just draw here. So this is it's becoming more powerful, right? But here, so in the other side, when you go down from here to here, it is shareable. Or can be used commonly. That feature increase when it become so the commonly. So you can share, you can use as a common. So when you have external, it's more common. Internal, something common to the page. But inline is not even, so it's only for the particular tag. But the power of the CSS increases when it is becoming inline. So this has asked in the examination. This is tested, whether you know about these 3 styles. Inline, then internal, then external. That is the power. The shareability, so it is external, then internal, and inline is not even share. It cannot be shared actually. It's only for the particular tag. Okay. So the last point about CSS. The last point about CSS, that CSS has something called a box model. CSS has something called a box model. Means, so any element in CSS, any element has top, right, bottom, left sides. So whatever the element that you consider will have 4 sides: top, right, bottom, left, and that is the order even. So it's going clockwise order: top, right, bottom, left. So these are the 4 sides. And in these 4 sides, you have padding. Padding means the gap between the border and the text. Content ekai, border ekai atara gap. A gap between the border and the text. You call that padding. Then the border. After that, the margin. Margin is the gap between this element and the next element. So maybe the neighborhood, nearby element. The gap between this and nearby element is margin. So margin also, you have top margin, right margin, bottom margin, left margin. Then the border. Border is anyway the cross line. So it is the area. It is the surrounding. It is the bridge. Or it is, you can say it's the wall. Limit. The border is also having top, right, bottom, left. Then inside the border, there's a padding. Padding means the gap between the content and the border. That is called padding. So the order is top, right, bottom, left. In the shorthand notation, you can say top and bottom in one and left and right in another. That is the short notation. In very short notation, you can use all around. I'll explain this, right? I'll explain what is this. Just take a screenshot for the moment. I'll explain what is this, right? What is this border? What is padding? What is the margin? So let me explain that. You just take a screenshot of that. So this is the box model. So now you have a clear idea of CSS. Only 3 things to learn. So that is about the tag selector, ID selector, and class selector. After that, your CSS lesson is over. So it's a very small lesson, but the thing is you have to practice a lot. So let me show these things now. Okay, so let's try with the inline style. Let's say I want to add a background color. In CSS, I can add the background color by mentioning the style tag. Then inside that, the syntax format is, first I have to mention the property. Let's say background color is my property, and then the color, let's say silver or gray color. So that is the value. So this is how you mention. Background color is the property, then colon, after that the value. So the font. So how can I add the font? So font can be added by pressing style attributes. So inside that I can say style, sorry. The font color can be given using color. So let's say color is red, orange. Then font size, and I can say that is in pixels. Let's say I need 16 pixels. So it can even be centimeter, millimeter, inches. You like that also. Then font type. So that is given using font family attribute. Font family, let's say word. And this is how you give the same details using CSS. Bit longer than HTML attribute, but it is mentioned inside the single attribute. So this is inline, the first version, inline CSS. Let me save, go to the page, refresh, and you can see the same. So only the font size has like changed. So let me change that to 26, let's see. So you can give any size, and now we can see it's a bit larger. If you want 36, you can do 36 even. That is even more larger. Okay, can you try this, please? This is how inline style can be added. So you can try in your code. So please try that in your code. Style, then the font. So please try that. This is how styles added. Right, okay. So then let's try to implement the same. Let's try to implement the same using right now. So this is inline. So you can implement the same using internal. So if you want internal styles, now the selectors are coming. So let's put style tag here. So you are putting as a style tag in the head section. So specialty, head section. Normally you are putting things in the body section. Here the styles you are putting in head section. So let's say you want to apply background style to the body tag. You can use the tag name, then write the style in curly braces. So let's add that. I need to cut that and paste. Now styles are not there. So it's clean HTML. Similarly, let's say you want to add style to font. Use the tag name, font, the curly braces, cut and paste this thing. So this is how you can add internal styles. So inline styles added inside these inline styles are added inside the attribute, inside the attribute. Internal styles added inside the style tag. And with the tag name, then the attributes and the values. Tag name, then the properties and the values. Property, value, property, value. So this is how you add that. And when you refresh, you can see the same. Right? When you refresh, you can see the same. Okay, so now we have learned two things. So what the first thing is we have learned in under CSS. Today we just started the CSS lesson, and under this lesson we have discussed CSS. So I'm just reminding, CSS is alternative solution to HTML. Why HTML styles? Why? Because earlier days we used to have attributes, but it was replaced by CSS styles. CSS styles can be added in three ways: inline, internal, external. We learn how this can be added inline. So inline method is So let me undo that and show. This is the inline method. If you have not taken screenshot, please take screenshot. This is inline. Inline means inside the attribute itself. Inside the attribute itself, you are adding the style. So internal means you are adding the same style here in the head section. So let me copy and paste the code, and then you can try this. So I'll copy and paste the code. So you can just copy and paste the same and save as HTML file. Here's the code. Please copy and paste it to Notepad and save. I have saved as styles1.html. Let me save and go and refresh, and this is the output that I got. Okay, this is internal. I'll explain this further. I'll explain this, but for the moment, just do this exercise. And if you have any question, you can ask. If you want help, you can share the screen too. So if you don't know how to write this, if you don't know how to add this style, and if you don't know how to save a file and how to apply the style, tell me, right? Tell me, mention that as a problem in the chat, then I'll help you to add that, and I'll help you to do that in your computer. What you have to do is you have to share your screen. That is all. So let me give the sharing permissions. Okay, now sharing permission is also given. If you wish, you can start sharing. So permission is given, right? Okay, tell me if you have any question, then I'll help. Because sometimes some students, they don't know the beginning part. They might confuse. That is why I'm always asking some students, if you miss the first few lessons, let me know. I'll send you the video link. You can watch it. Then it will be clear, right? I'll be sending all the HTML related videos to you. There are few. You have to watch them. And after watching that, so this will be very clear. Because we are in the middle of a lesson, but we have started a new lesson today, that is styles. So styles is totally new. Okay, shall we try the external styles if you are done? So you can copy and paste the code, save that as HTML file, open using your web browser, and you can see this. Okay, so let's try for external CSS. Same thing, I'm going to cut this part. This is the CSS part now. I can cut this part. Let me cut. And I can add it as a new file. Paste. So this is totally new. So I have added a background color. Then I have added font style. So background color, font style, right? I have added both. Background color, font style, font family, everything. So now I have to save this document. So this is your CSS. I'll copy and paste. So you can save this document as a separate file. File save as. And I'm going to save this file now as in my document. Let's say I'm going to save this as mystyle.css. Remember, CSS. This is very important. You can give any name, but the extension is CSS. mystyle.css. Any name .css. Save it. And that is your CSS file. Then how can you link that to the HTML file? In the HTML file, you have to tell link relation style sheet and the location href. The location is same location, so I can mention the name mystyle.css. Type text/css. This is how you link. That's it. And your linking is complete. If everything is okay, then you can see the same page again. But let me do a small mistake. I'm going to give a wrong name. So then I make a save kare. I have saved this as mystyle.css name. Documents wala save kare me. Users wala Dasun Nilanjana inside document mystyle.css, right? So here make up the C users, Dasun Nilanjana documents, styles1.html. So let's say I have made a mistake, my space type, then wrong file name now because no space here. Then if I save this, you can see a plain HTML document because your styling part is missing. Sometimes this happens in your, when you're browsing internet, this happens. Sometimes you might have experience. When you're browsing internet, when internet is very slow, especially these Facebook-like websites, when internet is very slow, what will happen? Yes, Netuli, have you experienced? You can see the plain page without styles. The page, HTML page, no styles, no colors, no alignment. Everything you can see as a text box. Sometimes when internet connection is very slow, this happens. I don't know whether you have experience, but you should have, right? Because you are browsing internet, especially Facebook. So you are browsing it now. But when internet is slow, it will load only the plain page like this. CSS load. The reason is CSS is not loaded. Here actually why CSS is not loading? The reason is I have given space. The file name is mystyle.css, but here I have given myspace_style.css. If I correct this, then I'll see the page with styles. If there's something wrong, maybe wrong name, wrong address, then the plain text will be displayed. So be careful. So if you want to link this properly, you have to give the proper link. Then only the CSS will be added. Okay, this is my HTML part. I'm sending it to you. And the CSS part, I'll be sending that again. This is the CSS part. So CSS part should be written separately. The file name is mystyle.css. And HTML part separately. That is this part. I have sent both into the chat. So you can copy and paste if you're slow and see whether you are getting the same result. If you're not getting, tell me. I'll help you correct. If you're not getting this, please tell me. I'll help you correct your web page. So, okay, I think 1 minute is enough for you to try, right? So just give a try. If you're not getting the answer, tell me, then I'll help, right? If you're having questions, tell me, I'll help. Right, now you can understand how to apply this four-side border. So top, right, bottom, left. This is how to apply things together. So if you need two sides, top, bottom, and then left, right. So you can give like this, yellow, let's say red, then it's applied. Yellow to top and bottom and left and right, red color. Like this. So these are the three ways of giving, or you can give individual sides. Individual side means you can just give like this, border, border, then left side border, and color of the left side border. And you can say, let's say it is left side border is blue color. So that is also possible, but this is long, right? Then the notation is long. Border and left side border, the color. So that is basically long. Here, left side border colors. Likewise, you can change, right? So then there's another thing, like if you want to apply, if you want to make it a curvy border, you can say border radius. Radius, that will add a curvy border. So that also you can give for the four side different, four corners different. That means one corner, if you give like 15 pixel, all the corners will get 15 pixel rounded borders. Here, all the corners, 15 pixel rounded borders. So let's say you have given 35 pixels, then all the corners will get rounded borders in all four corners. But if you need to change that for other corners, let's say you can change it. 8 pixels, 12 pixels, say 100 pixels, likewise. You can give different values to four corners. Yeah. So this is 100 pixel corner, and this is the 15 pixel corner, and this is 8 pixel corner, and this is 12 pixel corner. So likewise, sorry. For the four sides, you can give four border radius styles, or commonly you can give one border radius. Commonly, then all corners will get the rounded borders. So now you know how to change the border, and so let's see how to change the padding. So padding also 4 sides are there, right? Top, right, bottom, left. And let's say you have given common padding 20 pixels. Then each side you will get 20 pixels gap. Yeah, 20 pixels gap. Each side means these are the sides. Each side like you may pattern 20 pixel gap. මේ උඩ ඉඳමුත් 20 pixel gap එකක්. මේ පැත්තෙනුත් 20 pixel gap එකක්. මේ පැත්තේ කොහොමද වැඩිපුර gap එක තියෙනවා. මොකද ඉඩ තියෙන. මේක align වෙලා තියෙන මෙහෙට ඉඳ තමයි මෙහෙම. So if you align this to center, then that problem won't happen. So what you can do is you can align this to center. Then all sides you get same. So if you want to align, you can say text align is center. So these are the things we will anyway. I'll give you the guidance. I'll give you the note tute. Covering all these things, how to set the align, how to text, how to set the color, how to set. But just for the practicing purpose, let's do this. Now you can see the text align center. You can give different padding to different like top padding 20 pixels. Let's say the left padding is 100 pixels, or your right padding. Then the bottom padding is, let's say, 200 pixels, and so the left side padding is let's say 10 pixels. So you can see it's something like this then. So උඩින් ඇවිල්ලා උඩින් 20යි pixel. මේ පැත්තට 100ක් තියෙනවා. පල්ලෙහෙන් 200ක් තියෙනවා. එතකොට මේ පැත්තේ pixels 10යි. හැබැයි මේක center align වෙලා තියෙන ඉඳ තමයි මෙහෙමයි. So if it is not center aligned, then you can see the left side padding, right? හරියටම 10යි. Center align වුණොත් අපිට ඒක පේන්නේ. Okay, these are the things that you can. This is padding. So the border is the margin, then the padding. So then there's something called margin. Margin is actually what is something external. Margin means the gap between other element and this element. So let's say margin top, margin from top. If I give let's say 100 pixels. So you can see the gap between hello and this. Now it is 100 pixels. Let's say I want to make it like margin left 100 pixels, and that will give left 100 pixels margin. Likewise, I can put negative margins and make it on top of this margin top 100. So then you can see it's crossing and moving up, because minus crossing and moving up. So you can place this element to anywhere in the document by setting the margin. Let me put the positive values that we have. You can place this element anywhere in the page by setting the margins. Okay, just practice it with it. Just give a practice, just give a try, change these properties. And if you have any difficulty, any error, please let me know. I'll give you 3 minutes to try. Now padding, border, margin, all 3 tested with the align. Right? Let's apply the style and do some practical implementation. So why these styles can be added. So what can we do with the styles? Give me a second. Let's see. Okay, I want to apply this style to a list. So let's say I have an unordered list. This unordered list has few list items. Let's say the first list item is home. The second list item is home contact. The third list item is gallery. And fourth list item is home, contact, gallery, let's say news. So these are 4 list items available. And let me erase all the styles, though no styles are here. So no external styles as well. So the page has only a list. So home, contact, gallery, news. So I need this to be a menu. So I'm going to assign ID call menu to this. Right. Since this is a menu now, I'm going to put menu, and then in this hash menu means this ID menu. So then let's say I need to set this menu to let's say I need to set this menu. Okay. Actually, so I can I can nest this. I can nest this means I can go inside. In this menu ID, I can explicitly mention inside that the list items. That means list item tag, li tag inside this menu. Not normal list, not in every list. In a menu list, in the menu list, the list item tag. So I need this to be like, I need to set the width to this. Let's say width is 200 pixels. So let's see what will happen. Nothing. And I'm telling display as a block element, not as an inline block element. So then you can see the bullets point removed, and I can float this to left side. One mata pattara float pen. Float means one after another. You can see home, contact. Now it's horizontal. It's not like a list now. And let me set a background color. Background color. Let's say I need to set this silver color or gray color, dark gray, some dark gray color. Okay. So then I need to add a padding. So see, when I'm adding this, padding 20 pixels. When I'm adding this, it keep into, now it looks like this, right? And let's text align to center. Now it's center aligned. Okay. So now let me add a separator to separate these items, and I'm adding right side border, right side. So there's another short way of adding this. I can give the number of pixels, let's say 2 pixels, and I can give the style as well, solid, and I can give the color, let's say white. So now you can see the line separated. That is actually the border. Then I need to change the font color, the font family, font type. Let's say font Roboto. Okay. Then what else? Okay. Right. So if you need, like, you can curve this border, radius to curve this. Let's say 10 pixel radius, small curvy shape. And now you can see it's looks like buttons, right? Now it looks like button. Only thing is when I move the mouse point, it's not changing. So that can be added like this. Hash menu list item. When I move the mouse, so that is called a pseudo class. Hover. When I move the mouse. When I move the mouse, I need to change the color. So let's say the background color, I need to change this to background color. I'll select color from here. Okay, this green, this blue color. cornflower blue, cornflower blue. And then I need to change the mouse pointer cursor to a pointer. Pointer means hand. So now see, when I move the mouse, it's changing to hand, right? It's changing to hand. And it also changing the background color. So this can be done. So let's give a try. So I have started with the list and I have converted that to a menu. So these are the practical implementations, practical things that you can do with. These are the practical things that you can do with styles. Just give a try. Just try to implement this. If you're getting any error, please let me know. I'll give you 5 minutes. Don't worry. Just take your time and try. Take your time and try. I'll send you the code. But before that, just do a try. It's okay. So if you have power cut, you can just look around. So, but you can do this using your mobile phone too, right? So there are applications that you can use in your mobile phone to edit HTML. Here, if you're using Android mobile phone, you can download this one, HTML editor for Android. You can edit and save HTML pages, HTML editor for Android. Okay, these are some Droid edit. So Solo Learn, Jota text editor, Webmaster HTML editor Lite. So these are some examples. So you can try with your mobile even. So that is the nature. Even in your mobile phone, you can try to code. So we did code in our, actually, when I was doing the degree, I did code in using that, there was a mobile phone called Nokia 1100. This was the mobile that I had. Nokia. This has only, actually, it has only the text messages, right? So we used to type HTML in text messages. That code is not working. Actually, when I sent this text message to my friend, so he was texting another code. So that is how. So we by heart. අපි පාඩම් කරේ එහෙම. එතකොට මම කෝඩ් එකක් යවනකොට SMS එකක් යවනකොට යාළුවා තව එකක් යවනවා. ඒක තේරුම් අරගෙන මම එකක් යවනවා. කෝඩින් වගේ. Java වගේ ඔක්කොම ප්‍රැක්ටිස් කරේ මේ වගේ text based mobile. So we were struggling like that, right? But so උගලන්ට එහෙම අමාරු නෑ. You have smartphones, power ගියත් තිබ්බත් තව අවුලක් නෑ. You can code, right? So don't think much. So after this session, so I'll be moving into that. So PHP session. So let me show the summary of what we have learned today. We have learned about CSS. Then we learn about 3 applications of CSS: inline, internal, and external way of applying CSS. And so then inline CSS is basically where you write the code inside the style attribute. Right, so this is limited because it can be applied only to the particular tag. So it's not going beyond that. But the internal CSS so is valid throughout the page. So everywhere in the page it is valid. There are 3 selectors that you can use in internal CSS. Tag selector, which is the tag name. Here, this is tag selector, tag name, or it can be ID selector, or it can be class selector. Class selector means for a group of so this is actually you can apply as a class selector even. So here I can mention this list item as a class. So let's say class menu item, MI class menu item, and then so without just mentioning LI, I can say please apply this to the menu item. So I can say menu dot. So class name is mentioned after the dot .mi, the menu item. Here also .mi. .mi means the menu item, that is this class. So then it is applicable for the whole group. Right here, same thing, right? So without mentioning the tag, tag එකේ නම කියන්නේ නැතුව class එකක් විදිහට දාන්න. or ID එකක් විදිහට දැම්මොත් එක තැනක විතර. ID is a unique. ID can be there in page only once. මේ ID එක මේ page එකේ තියෙන්න පුළුවන් එකපාරයි. Only one time in the particular page. But class can be repeated multiple times. Tag is basically the tag name. So those are the three kind of selectors that you have. So here you can see the my class. So that is applicable, my ID, and this is a tag, div tag. So this is applied for every div in your page. So my class, this is applicable for every my class in your page. My ID, this is applicable for only the particular ID in your page. So these are the three ways of adding selectors. So I have given whole code. I'll be sending this note to you. So you can copy and paste, practice, and you can see how this is applied. So this div style, this is inline. Div class, this is the class. So this is again the same class. And ID, is it given somewhere? ID, my ID. No, it's not given. My class is given. My style is given. Class is given. No, ID is not given, but ID can be applied similarly, right? Here, my ID, you can see my ID. So when ID is there, that particular part will get that style. Okay, this is how you can apply styles. So then with that, so that is why I said it's very short lesson. So along with that, I'll send all the related CSS codings. Oh, I'll send now itself. So this can be downloaded, right? That is called cheat sheet. CSS cheat sheet. So you can get a PDF version. File, type, PDF. When you search like this, you will get the PDF file, related PDF file. So CSS cheat sheet. You can say PDF, or easily you can say file type PDF. Colon PDF, then you can get the PDF directly, right? This is CSS cheat sheets. I'll be sending this to you. So don't worry, in the examination, they will not give much coding. So they will only test the principles, whether you can understand the concept. Here. So it's only 2 pages, you can see. So the width, border left, border right, padding top, padding right, padding bottom, margin left. We just discuss these things, right? So that is why I say it's very short lesson. So then the background color, background image, background repeat. So these things are there. So I'll tell this part also. So how the background color, background image can be applied. So the text properties, font properties, it's very, very simple. So knowing this part is enough. Knowing this part is enough to answer the examination question. So here, this is a cheat sheet. Please download. I have sent that to the chat. Please download that. And not only that, so please get this one also, because this is also needed. This has multiple pages with more explanation, right? This is long format. It has it has more explanation. Yeah. But you don't need this level of knowledge to face the examination. This is for your practicing only, right? You don't need this level of knowledge for your examination, for your practicing only, strictly for your practicing. Please download both cheat sheets, very important. And next day I'll be starting, so the PHP part, and also the JavaScript, server-side scripting, and so client-side scripting, both. I'll be starting that next day. So we are to finish, we have to do this PHP part, and also MySQL. So we have already discussed, but we'll embed that MySQL and try to implement an application using database application. I'll remind you again the MySQL that we have learned, and let's merge it together and apply it into the PHP part. And let's see how database application can be created. And after that, so we have IoT lesson. That is also to be finished, IoT lesson, and I have to do that as well. So that is to be done in the class. And after that, yes, we have done operating systems, IoT. Yes, after that, a networking lesson I need to do. So those are the remaining lessons in the class. But don't worry, if you miss any lessons, if you think that you have missed some lessons, we will be starting 2024 class. You can join with that and cover those lessons. And also we'll be starting the paper class after finishing this. So I wanted to start earlier, but I didn't start. The thing is that the examination is postponed, no need to start so early. So after finishing this one, PHP, and then integrate MySQL part, and after that, so after finishing IoT and networking lesson, so it will take at least 2 months. It will take at least maximum 3 months. So after that, I'll be starting the paper class, right? So 22 one is already over. So for them, I'll be starting paper class little early. But for 23 class, these are the remaining lessons. Okay, then good night. See you all next week.